Well, nobody really wanted him. Cleared waivers officially yesterday. Took about 45 minutes. Nobody grabbed them. He's now a free agent able to sign with any team. One report says the Chiefs are interested in the former LSU star, while the Rams' Sean McVay shot down the idea of bringing him in. Despite their lack of interest, the Rams would be the best fit for Fournette.
Out of bounds on this one, BT. That's an easy one. You look at, he talked about Malcolm Brown, but Cam Akers from Florida State is there as well. He's young. He's dynamic. I think he's going to get a lot of touches in this offense, and so to complicate it by bringing in Leonard Fournette, just it doesn't fit the mold. Look, we just had Tom Curran on from Boston, and do the Pats make sense? In a sense, yeah, but I think Leonard Fournette's going to have a hard time finding a job unless someone gets injured in the early part of the season. I don't see him being on a squad of 16 weeks this year. The Chiefs make sense because they have a young starter in Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who I'm very high on.
Love him.
You are as well. He was great at LSU, even though he's a smaller player. He could complement well with him, but I don't know if he fits Kansas City's offense. So despite that report, I don't know if that one even makes sense. So I'm going to say out of bounds, but I can't think of a viable alternative off the top of my head.
I'm going to say out of bounds as well. I'll try to give you a viable alternative just to give you a little piece of the pie. Go back to last year, some of the teams that were really low in terms of yards per game, the Bengals, but Joe Mixon, he just got paid. He got hot after the 8th week or so. So they were actually dead last, about 95 yards a game rushing, but that's been resolved. Tampa was second to last. Kansas City, mentioned them. Washington, I don't know that you need that with a new coach. Detroit, I'll tell you what, why not Seattle? Why not Seattle? Like, there's always a stable, a trio of running. Now, I know that Carson's good, but haven't they always flourished by having as much running back depth, mainly out of necessity?
True.
Over the years, the last 3, 4, 5 years, I think they've had 3 or 4 running backs every year.
They have, but they have a really deep roster right now. So Chris Carson, who's about to get paid, Carlos Hyde, who's a good player as well.
Yeah.
Then Rashad Penny, who's there also, and he's on the PUP list right now. But let's not forget they drafted DJ Dallas out of the University of Miami, who, he kind of flew under the radar in the draft and post-draft this year, but he's a really good player and a dynamic player. So I think I can't see Seattle because they're full right now in that room. D-Cell just said maybe the Cardinals, or maybe it was Samter, whoever said that. Samter said the Cardinals because Kenyon Drake is their starter, and he was banged up last year. Maybe. Again, I think he'll sign somewhere. I just don't think it'll be, like, right now.
Yeah, and again, I don't even love Fournette. I would slightly disagree and say that I'd be a little bit, not stunned, but I'd be mildly surprised if he's not on a roster week 1. But nobody's obviously clamoring for his services, so the price tag goes down. We'll see where Fournette lands. Right now, man without a team. But the Athletic reports Minnesota's not only open to trading the pick, but actively pursuing options to deal the top spot. They want to dance with somebody. They want to trade. Anthony Edwards, LaMelo Ball, James Wiseman, some of the big names atop the board, considered some of the best players in the draft. So in or out, Minnesota would be better off keeping the pick rather than trading out of the top 5.
I'm going to say in bounds of this, BT, and not because I think that any of these guys are potential superstars at the top of this draft, and they're going to be really good players. And some of them may form into like really good role players. But when you look at the Minnesota right now with Karl Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell, they have 2 good scorers. And I think there's an opportunity to get a mature young player, and Obi Toppin jumps to mind right now. I mean, he's not like in a lot of people's minds the number 1 overall pick, Obi Toppin. But
nobody really.
Yeah, right. But he's a mature player, and so I think he could fit into that offense, especially because Cat is now he's perimeter focused in so many ways. He's taken almost 8 3-pointers a game and knocking down 40% of them. So he's become that stretch guy. If they have a mature a guy in the middle who's athletic and can fit a role, I think that would work for them. Because again, I just like who were we talking about earlier? The Jazz. Yeah. I'm not sure Minnesota is going to be like a free agent destination. I think they have to do it via the draft, and they can get a really good young but mature player this year.
I agree with how they have to do it, but I disagree where they have to do it. I would say out of bounds to this. I would trade it. I'm just not enamored with this draft. And We're going to look back with this draft. Even LaMelo, who some think could go, he's a horrendous shooter.
What do we really know about him? I agree with you, BT.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you.
He played in Australia, and he put up some good numbers. I know he's got good court vision, long body, could see over people, but he shoots horrendously. Not that can't become functional, but he's not an elite shooter. He's a bad shooter right now. Can't take him first overall. Listen, here's the issue. Finances. Not Minnesota directly, but just this was last year. But when the salaries cap scale we know about. Last year, the first overall pick made 8.1 in year one, and then second year was 8.5, and then it went up to 8.9. All right, nominal raises, manageable. But then for the fourth-year option, there's a 26.1% spike from the third year, okay? And then if you offer the qualifying offer, it's now a 30% increase over the 26% increase from the fourth year. I say this because you don't need to pay a guy that you're not in love with $18, $20 million a year in year 5 when you could get somebody maybe better 12th in the draft or 13th, and those numbers go down big time. I would absolutely, unless they are knocked out of the water, which I don't think they will be, I'm trading. I'm absolutely trading out of that pick. Baseball just announced Chapman's going to get 3 games for that. I'm fine with that. Chapman deserves to sit. And Cash and Boone get 1 game apiece. The hell did Boone do wrong?
I don't know. He said nothing.
Baseball should have suspended Cash longer than 1 game for his threat, in or out.
Yeah, I'm going to say inbounds of this, man. Make it 2 games. Who cares? It's insignificant ultimately, but still, Aaron Boone does not deserve the same punishment that Kevin Cash got. Kevin Cash was basically saying, we're throwing 98 at somebody's head tomorrow. Period.
He said, basically.
Right? Aaron Boone said, well, nothing. Right? So
I'm not going to get into that.
I don't get that. So I would say inbounds. Yeah, Cash should have been suspended longer.
Yeah, it's about, and I know you know this, it's about accountability and being the leader. I hear you. Just send the message so everybody receives it, and hopefully nobody does this down the road. But I'm surprisingly going to say out of bounds. Sticks and stones, they break bones, words. Yeah, I mean, they're grown men. If it comes to fruition, then you drop the hammer. But words,
So you're saying 0 on both?
I'd say 0. No, Chapman, I would have.
No, I'm talking about just the skips.
Yeah, I'd say 0 on that. Quite frankly, Tiki, even if Chapman would have gotten more than 3, I've always been consistent with this. Joe Kelly going head hunting. I don't care if you wear a Yankee cap or not. That is nonsense. You cannot do that. So if they said 4, 5, or even more, I would have been okay. The managers, I probably would have given them a pass and see what happens today or tonight, and something's probably going to happen. The Sooners have had 3 straight years of dynamic quarterback play. Baker, Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts. Of course, Mayfield and Murray both won the Heisman. Hurts finished second last year to Joe Burrow. Now for the 4th straight year, the Sooners have a new starting quarterback. They named redshirt freshman and 5-star recruit Spencer Rattler as their starter. You do expect Rattler to be a Heisman contender this season.
I'm going to say out of bounds of this, BT, because I don't think there's going to be a Heisman Trophy. I think it's going to get delayed and pushed back, and especially because you're starting to hear, some of these late fall, or early winter, I should say, seasons developing. How are you going to actually determine the Heisman Trophy if you have half of your Power 5 schools not playing? So I'm going to say out of bounds, but even still, he's a redshirt freshman. Yeah, he's been there for a season, and he's learned and he's seen this system and how it operates. But I find it hard to see redshirt freshmen winning Heisman trophies, especially with some of these other really great quarterbacks around, including Trevor Lawrence.
I agree. I don't really need to add a whole lot to that. That's not a knock on the program, obviously.
No.
It's not a knock on the young man who I don't really know what his skill set is until I watch him.
Agreed. We haven't seen him.
I know. And I could, based on the system, say, yeah, sure, why not? But it's been a weird offseason. He needs as many reps as possible. He probably didn't get as many as you would during a non-pandemic year. I think out of bounds is the right answer. The Sixers looking for a new head coach. Some reports said they were eyeing, and this has not been news. This dance has been maybe not a two-way dance, but this dance has been done for a couple of years now with Jay Wright, 2-time national champ, and Villanova head man. Apparently the Sixers were always interested in him. However, Wright announced on Twitter today, quote, "I'm not a candidate for the job. I'm very happy and honored to coach at Villanova," end tweet, quote. In or out? Jay Wright's a top 3 college coach in the country. In or out?
I'll say inbounds this, BT.
You don't sound very convinced about it.
Well, I mean, because if I put him in the top 3, that means I have to leave Tony Bennett out in some capacity. Who I'm homerish
You don't have to.
about. But Mark Few is just so damn good. Coach K, you cannot put him in the top 3.
Why not? He always loses when it matters.
That's true, but still, he's still great. He's a great recruiter. His classes he gets are ridiculous. I'll say inbounds, but it's just barely to me. He's definitely top 5.
Jay Wright's phenomenal, and Jay Wright's brilliant for not doing this. First of all, Villanova, they've got a football team but doesn't have a huge profile, so Jay's the man on campus.
Yep.
It's a great academic institution, with great bloodlines on Wall Street. They've got all the money they need. Their boosters are engaged. They're well-funded. It's obviously a smart school, as I said. Beautiful campus, great conference where it's just about basketball. Jay Wright is going to coach in the NBA someday if he wants to. He's already, leapt past the great Rollie Massimino. Rollie won the one championship when they beat, one of the best teams of all time in Georgetown, the 85 Boys, John Thompson's team, of course. And, Rollie carved out this amazing lore, but Jay Wright's better. I mean, Jay Wright's just better. And here's the thing, too. My 3, yes, so he's obviously in my top 3. Rick Pitino. I don't care if he's coaching in a junior college right now. He's not. He's at Iona. He's still coaching. And Rick Pitino continuously squeezes more out of his team than most. This is not obviously Coach K is a titan of industry, but last couple of years, you tell me of all these 5 stars, win something, man. They almost lost to Central Florida a couple of years ago. They barely even won that game.
Yeah,
with Barrett and those guys. So I love Coach K. I love what he does, but he's underachieved the last couple of years. Coach Cal, for all the great players he gets, doesn't win enough. I need to see. I was thinking about Mark Few, and he's got to win one, in my opinion, to get there. I'm going to say Pitino. Boy, Tony Bennett does make it tough because I love Tony Bennett.
Right.
That's a tough one.
A 2-year defending national champion.
I get it, dude. I'm going to. I know. I'm going to put him aside for a moment. My top 3 would be Pitino. I would say Izzo. You got to put Izzo in there. Always over
forget about Izzo. Yeah, you forget about him because he's like a friend of the show, but he's amazing.
You know what? I'm going to actually put Bennett in there. That's how much I think of your coach in Virginia. Pitino, Bennett 2, and Tom Izzo 3. Those are the 3 best coaches in the game right now. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell to be notified when we drop fresh content.